I'm crashing the biggest LEGO planes that have ever been destroyed, so I booked out this massive pool to show you how insanely satisfying crashes are with 10,000 parts. But first, let's see how breathtaking I can make a crash with just 10 parts. This sloppy design might seem identical to the one from the last video, but no, this is actually a completely different plane. Introducing the Boeing 7, the biggest competitor of the Airbus A3. Uh-oh, a technical error, unsurprising. How satisfying can I make a crash with just 10 parts? That's an epic splash, but compared to the crashes later in this video, this is practically nothing. Some parts even sank to the bottom. Of course, this is just the beginning. The cleanups after this one will all take forever since the planes will be up to thousands of times bigger. Our next build is pretty much made of 10 Boeing 7s, 100 parts. This plane is one of the most advanced and efficient planes in the very near future of aviation. From black paper, I made the very cool looking mask that many Airbus planes have. This is not the A320. It's also not the A321 or the A321neo. This is the Airbus A321XLR, the newest Airbus plane which will soon be launched with Iberia Airlines. It is very similar to what the Boeing 797 would look like if that ever stops getting delayed.
Sink rate. Don't sink. Too low. Terrain. Too low. Terrain. Pull up.
Wow, how survivable do you think this crash is? Tell me in the comments. I challenge you to guess what our next plane is because it should be easy to realise. There's a sleek wing design I crafted because yes, I'm going ultra detailed with this one because this build needs to be 500 parts, so 5 XLRs. I love this custom nose design so much. Now that we're less limited with parts, I can finally load in a full interior which should hopefully make the crash more destructive. Time to reveal the livery. Oh, Ryanair. Well, this one will be fun, won't it? Okay, I might have forgotten about how I need to spend hours cutting window holes in the paper. Ugh, not fun. The build is complete. This is the Boeing 737 MAX 200, a popular Ryanair plane, but this one, of course, is doomed. On the 25th of November 2025, Ryanair Flight 9677 departed Dublin Airport with 190 occupants. It flew over Ireland as usual. But as it approached the coast, the 737 MAX encountered an unexpected catastrophic structural failure. The sudden explosive decompression seriously damaged the plane's advanced computer technology, and the MCAS was fed incorrect information, making it falsely understand that the plane was pitching up at a dangerously high angle of attack. Beyond the control of the crew, the MCAS attempted to correct this, sending the plane into a lethal, unrecoverable dive towards the Irish Sea.
Terrain. Pull up. Pull.
Oh, that didn't really break up as much as I hoped. Well, of course that means I'm now going to throw it in as hard as possible. Now that is a decent breakup. Here's a bunch of grey parts for this next plane, which will be a type of plane I've never even considered making before. A bomber. One of the most famous bombers, the Boeing B-52 Stratofortress. These planes are crazy because they're over 70 years old and have not 4, not 6, but 8 engines. the wings on this plane are swept back a lot. And there's the 4 pairs of engines. Do you think they're accurate? Their weight bends down the wings a bit, which is actually kind of what they're really like. I added the unique landing gear, and now it's time for the US Air Force markings. I did some adding and worked out that the plane isn't quite at my desired total, so I added tons of these things to bring up the total to a perfect 1,000 parts. The colossal B-52 takes off on a mission over enemy land. Oh, a missile! The B-52 loses control. That was really good. Well, wait till you see the next crash. We're gonna double this. It's time for 2,000 parts, so 4 737 MAX Ryanairs. I've got a good plan for this one. You remember my iconic classic 747 design? You know, the one using default LEGO plane parts that has a tutorial with well over 1 million views? I'm going to absolutely remaster that. I'm going to make a completely custom nose for the 747. And there's so many airlines to choose from. This one looks perfect. To get to this crazy parts goal, it will rely a lot on how much I pack the interior, so I might have to do something a bit unholy and just load in all my passengers like this. But this won't be any ordinary plane in my fleet. This one's getting a very special livery. We recently surpassed 150k, so I'm proud to reveal the flight to 200,000 subscribers. If everyone watching this right now were to simply subscribe, then I would reach this crazy goal almost instantly. But if you won't subscribe, then I guess our flight to 200k is gonna crash like this. That was a mesmerizing dive. But look, it barely broke apart. This certainly means we're doing an attempt 2. Here we go. This reminds me of a certain aftermath. I can imagine it might have been hard to see the 747 go. But after all, it was built to be destroyed like everything else on this channel, and that is the entire reason why I build everything in the first place. However, this next build is going to be pretty difficult to see getting obliterated. I redesigned the 747 nose from the last version just to make the shape a bit more realistic. But we're not building another 747-8. You've probably figured out that this will be one of the largest cargo carriers ever made. Yes, the Dreamlifter. I made this bulge here, and I built the same wings from the last 747. The Dreamlifter opens up at the back, so here's what I made. I love how the shape here turned out. Now I need to fully load it up with a certain amount of cargo, a delivery of hundreds of LEGO parts. This monster is made up of 3,000 parts, so in Boeing 7s, that would be equivalent to 300 Boeing 7s. For it to break up as much as possible, I'll drop it on the edge of the pool right here. But first I'll just show some of the cameras I've been using. This is the underwater camera, and this one is the 1000 FPS camera that does 20 times ultra slow motion, which we will try out soon. Time to end the Dreamlifter. That was a total destruction, but imagine building the Dreamlifter without building the Beluga. I started by making this curved base part that goes to the cockpit. The last build was 3000 parts, but now we're jumping to 5000 parts. I added the single engines and the nice A330 winglets, then designed the fuselage bulge shape that the Beluga has. This right here is the cargo door that will open and give access to the inside right from above the cockpit. I then added the big custom tail and these cool parts on the ends of the horizontal stabilizers. This part was a bit more tricky since the ordinary Lego roof isn't wide enough, so I used 70 of these small parts to make a nice wide round roof. This looks so ridiculous. I opened up the cargo door and filled the Beluga with all sorts of aircraft parts that Airbus will transport around their factories throughout Europe. So we've built two of the largest cargo planes ever made, but how could I end it here without building the first largest cargo plane of all time? It's time for the final crash in the video. We're of course doubling from the Beluga, so not 100, not 500, but 1000 Boeing 7s, aka 10,000 parts. The last video's 10k plane was this fictional thing, so now I'm going as realistic as possible to breathe some life back into the fallen icon of Ukraine, the largest aircraft of all time. No, not the A390, the Antonov AN-225. Oh, I think I should make it one plate longer. This nose part is going to open up like this. I need every single white brick possible, so before we left home I painfully demolished my airport terminal, but please do not worry, I will rebuild it entirely and this will all be so worth it. If you're interested in knowing how I spawned in a massive pool for this video, well, I booked out a property in the Peak District near Sheffield in England just to make this video for you, so a like, sub and comment would be the best way to appreciate my effort and investment. I built up the monstrous body strong and tall and constructed the vast heavy wings. This thing is straight up just big. Very big. I added the side livery, tail livery, registration, nose livery, and opened up the nose to load in this piece of aircraft as well as a lot more plane parts. At the start of this video, the counting process was manageable, but trust me, it's just not at all fun anymore. And here we are. This is just my silly interpretation of the AN-225. It's nothing professional because that's just not my style and nothing I'm really capable of yet. If we really want to crash this thing, we need to first off actually pick it up, and I cannot do that. We carried it on this plank of wood and put it on this table here. My main plan is just to slide it off the wood and dive it straight into the pool. Goodbye 225 Maria. I hope after this you'll get rebuilt, not in Lego form, but in real life. Here we go. This has been a wild and exhausting journey, but it's all worth it because you watched to the end. Thanks.